Welcome to Konoha Crush, a clandestine effort to exhaustively research and document events occurring in and around the village hidden in the leaves. I'm Ruby.
I'm Gwen. Hi.
Hi, hey, how's it going? It's podcast time. We're making the podcast about Naruto.
Yeah, it's podcast time. We're here to talk about Naruto and nothing else. Let's go.
Oh wow, nothing else at all?
I'm still in the fucking Nona pit.
Yeah, okay. Still feeling the vibes of that one?
Yeah.
Yeah. Okay. So then, not to say there, right? You know, that book's like 2 weeks old or some shit.
Yeah.
You know, you can't just say everything that happens on a Naruto podcast where we don't like warn about Lock's Tomb spoilers. Generally speaking, it would be weird.
Yeah. I'm probably gonna have 1 week where I'm just like, all right, I'm almost done. Next week, it's gonna be book talk.
Okay.
But that is not right now.
Okay. Right. So right now you're just chilling. I've been watching Star Trek, I guess.
Yeah, I heard you were becoming a Star Trek guy.
Yeah, I decided I was gonna become a Star Trek guy, and like what that meant functionally was I did like a very fateful Google search. It was like, how many episodes of Star Trek are there in total? And I saw the number and it was like, I bet I could just do this if I just like watched one a day or for like however long, like 2.5 years or some shit. Like that's gonna take less time than making this podcast is gonna take. That's easy.
That's easy. Yeah.
It's just like 856 right now. That number might have increased since the last time I checked. I don't know. It's fine.
No, I was just gonna say, like, unless they start pumping out an episode a day, you're gonna catch up.
Yeah, right. Like at the most, they're gonna do like an episode a week if they like somehow get enough shows to like keep that gut machine going forever. But I don't think they're gonna get that far.
No,
that'd be ridiculous. Money's got to run out before then.
Yeah, nobody's watching fucking Star Trek.
Yeah, I don't know what to say, right? Like, because I'm like so early on, I've seen like 5 episodes. There's like the sense of like I really haven't seen what like I understand the general idea of Star Trek to be, but also I'm not going to sit here and make like these bold declarations about how Star Trek isn't what everybody says it is from 5 episodes, right? Because obviously these are like 5 episodes, and like there's been like 2.5 different plots across them.
Yeah.
So like this first season of Star Trek, the original series, has some very it's these first 5 episodes. It really goes into these similar wells over and over again. It's quite strange. I guess not that strange, but like I haven't seen an episode where they go to like a planet and meet some weird guys yet. So I feel like I haven't actually seen any Star Trek.
Yeah.
But I have seen like 2 different episodes about like what if there was a guy who had like god powers and we had to get rid of him.
That early?
Yeah.
What the fuck?
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah, I don't know. I don't know if I'm going to make this be a thing where we have like a weekly Star Trek segment on this podcast. That's just like what I'm doing. That's like the new thing I'm doing right now. So like, you know, I'm at least bringing it up here.
Yeah, it'll be worth mentioning probably whenever you like switch to a new series or whatever, right? Like,
yeah, you know, I will bring it up when I feel like I have like something to say that isn't like getting insanely deep in the reads on like our Naruto podcast. But like right now, I'm just like, I don't know what this thing is yet because it doesn't seem like they do either, and that's going to be interesting.
Yeah, it is interesting. I'm excited to hear you talk about that, like to me privately.
Okay, I mean, I could definitely like talk more about Star Trek to you privately when I'm not like worried about making a dumbass of myself to like the handful of listeners we have that I know more about Star Trek than me.
Yeah. I mean, like I know jack shit, so I'm like super easy to talk to.
Yeah, I could like make up anything. I could like make all sorts of bold declarations about what Star Trek is, and you would know I was wrong.
I've seen a little bit of Star Trek, mostly The Next Generation, but a little bit of the original, also, and like probably at least an episode of another one. Who knows?
Who knows? All right. Well, I mean, I guess that's that topic for now. I guess that's what I have to say before we get into like Naruto, right? Like, if we wanna move on.
Yeah. All right. Let's get into it.
Okay.
Episode 101. Gotta see, gotta know Kakashi Sensei's true face. Naruto confronts Sakura and Sasuke about wanting to see Kakashi's face under the mask. Sakura is on board, but Sasuke takes some convincing with some funny imagery. The kids treat Kakashi to lunch, and he readies himself for a handful of prank possibilities before deciding to eat. When he does, Ino, Shikamaru, and Choji show up to block view long enough for Kakashi to finish. Knowing he can't keep the mask on forever, Sasuke has the gang follow him around for the day, but they keep losing him. They head out on a farm mission, and the kids are still determined to see his face. As they leave, we see a group of ninja watching them. They seem to have beef with Kakashi.
Okay. So yeah, this is like an episode that I feel like people know about, generally speaking, and I maybe my perspective is warped, but like before I watched Naruto, and I just knew some people who talked about Naruto at school, right? Like I heard about the Rock Lee shit where he drops the weights. I heard about like the big fight with Naruto and Sasuke, and like I heard about this one specifically, right?
Yeah, this very super funny episode.
It's like a goose time. It's like just a silly fun time, you know. It's got the classic punchline everybody loves.
Yeah.
Yeah, and so it's definitely interesting to revisit on that angle. It's also interesting, like, you know, this is a Masahiko Murata episode, and I like a lot of Murata's work on Naruto. We got Chikara Sakurai animation direction, and like, you know, Sakurai is like one of the animation directors I've liked more on this like on this watch of Naruto. Like, I really appreciated those episodes. Also got like Seiko Asai as a key animator, who's both like, you know, fairly talented and like somebody who is going to be like working very closely with Murata, like especially once we get into like his Shippuden episodes.
Mm-hmm.
How do you feel? What's the temperature of this Naruto comedy episode? Because I feel like we've been pretty down on those a lot of the time in the past.
It's strange.
Yeah?
I don't hate it, but I don't think I like it.
Yeah. I like this first half of it.
Uh-huh.
And then the second half of it, I think it kind of like, you know, like I heard about the jokes about them trying to see Kakashi's face, and I didn't hear anybody talk about the like mysterious guys that show up at the end of this first half of this episode, because there's like, you know,
right.
It's a little bit thinner. It doesn't do the thing that like I think like this episode does well, which is that in this first half of the episode, there's like this really great like willingness to just like repeat scene structures with like slight variations in like ways that I think are really funny, and like just do lots of like little visual gags like from that like repetition, like slight variation.
Yeah.
And it just like builds like great rhythm to it, like because it's like, okay, you kind of know what to expect, and then it's also like subverting that in little ways. It's just like very like solidly constructed in like these first like, I say half of it's like the first like 9 minutes of the episode or something.
Yeah. As an example, the scene where they are getting Kakashi lunch, and Kakashi is like in his head going through all the different like prank possibilities. After getting got in each one, he sort of imagines the kids, you know, like striking a little victory pose. And then the last one, it turns out that he's imagined that the staff of the ramen shop are like in on it too, and they do the literal victory pose too, and like that's just like a little fun.
Yeah, and like I get it, they really like in that sequence is like every time he's like imagining a new prank, like Naruto gets like more and more anxious.
Yeah.
You know, there's like there's the bit at the very top of the episode where when Naruto's like going to like Sakura and Sasuke to be like, hey, we should find out what Sasuke's face looks like, or like that exact like scene is like repeated in structure like every time with every time they go back to like try and figure out a new plan. You know, we've got like Naruto like directly like addressing the screen, being like, hey, we got to find out what's up with Kakashi's face, and then like he like tries to like scare Sakura, and then Sakura punches him, and like Sasuke like says something trying to be cool and like turns and walks away, which like leads to the very funny joke of like Sasuke's engagement with something he doesn't care about and something that he does care about looking exactly the same, because he just like says this cool line and like turns and walks away.
Yeah,
like it's just like it's just like snappy and fun, and like it's one of those things where like it winds up like looking pretty good, like really cartoony and expressive in a way that's also like pretty economical, right? Like there's a lot of like animation reuse. There's a lot of like just like reusing shots in ways that are like just like there to like build up the jokes, and I think that like winds up working really well in its favor.
Totally. I just wish they stuck to the bit.
Yeah, right. Because when they're doing the bit, it's very good. And like this specific kind of episode where it's like, oh yeah, here's like an episode that like winds up like looking pretty good, but it's actually like not the most like demanding thing in terms of like the production's resources. It's like it's always a thing I'm really fascinated by. Like the other big one in my mind is like Hakuto Precure episode 15, which is like sort of like mostly like a comedy side episode about like the robot villain girl and the like goofy kid who like kind of wants to be a Precure, like having like a weird, awkward, like needing to be friends together, like thing where they like run out together while they're going shopping. That's like which is like an episode that's like playing in like a similar space of like, you know, just here's like a lighthearted thing. It's very well it's like pretty well constructed, and it's like, you know, it's surprisingly like light in terms of like how much it actually like demands from the resources of the production. And I also think that's like a better episode than this one. I think, you know, I like Masaki Murata, but I don't like Masaki Murata as much as I like Yuta Tanaka. But that's Precure talk. I'm getting a little bit off topic here.
Yeah, this isn't a Precure podcast, unfortunately.
Yeah, I don't have one of those. I would sound way smarter on the Precure podcast, but like also it would be like kind of harder to make because it's, you know, it's the same structures over and over again. You'd have to figure out how to make that.
Well, when Naruto's done, we'll think about it.
The other way I want to touch on with this half of the episode is like, so when I was like doing like research around like the movie episode, I saw a thing like about, this movie takes place chronologically after episode 101 of Naruto, which is this episode. I was like, why do they say this, and like why does this matter? And like, first of all, I don't think it matters at all. But the reason that as far as I can tell that they've said this is because in this episode there's like a goof where Kakashi sees like a poster for a movie adaptation of Jiraiya's Horny Books, and you know, there's also a joke in that movie about like a movie adaptation of Jiraiya's Horny Books, but in that one Kakashi's like learning who stars in it, and this one he's learning that the movie exists.
Yeah.
And like, realistically speaking, I think it's just that they like two different people decided to make like a joke about this thing. And not like this is a signifier to the eagle-eyed viewers that like, oh hey, this is when the movie takes place, because like you can't actually fit this into the like continuity neatly, because with how like, you know, like with the like status quo of belief as it has been established of how like, oh, you know, everybody needs to like work super hard, we can't like send out like full 4-man teams onto missions, like.
Yeah, there's no way they would have sent Kakashi along with the mission that they thought was just going to be like, yeah, go make sure like a film crew is safe in like a kind of dangerous area that you don't know is going to have enemy shinobi.
And they definitely would have sent Kakashi with on the mission that was like, hey, go, I don't know, fucking like hammer some fences on a farm and like clean some shit up.
Yeah.
So it's just like a fascinating look at like, here's what the wiki brain people are doing and trying to construct this narrative like, okay, it all fits, don't worry about it. There's the single united anime canon where everything fits together and it all makes sense.
I take issue with this because there is no way they would be advertising the movie before they even started filming.
Yeah. I mean, it's like a big like illustrated poster, like this goofy like cartoony style that like presumably nobody in the world of Naruto looks like, right? Like, you know,
yeah.
It's an animated adaptation. It's an animated, yeah. There's like two different movies.
No, what's her name? She's a movie character, and I forgot it immediately.
Was it? I remember her fake name.
Yeah,
but not her real name.
Yukie. Yeah. Yukie is just the voice actress.
Okay, Kashi doesn't pay attention to voice actresses, so he was like,
yeah,
he was surprised when we learned it later.
Start with a K. We can't get hung up on this.
Koyuki?
Koyuki!
Yay! Woo! We did it! We solved it!
What the fuck were you saying?
Right, so there's like a bit later in this part of the episode where like they're all like individually like trying to like trail Kakashi, right? Like they're trying to follow him as a group, but like they're like, oh, he's just gonna notice if there's like 3 dumbass kids following him, and so they all like go and do it individually. Mm-hmm. And when Sakura goes to follow him, I was like so sad that they didn't just like fully commit to the joke of like her trying to trail Kakashi, and he's just like standing there being sad at the fucking monument about Obito for like several hours. Like, I think it would have been so much funnier if she just like realized that like he really was there and he was just standing there and she just got bored and left.
Yeah, like she approaches like expecting the dummy.
Yeah, and he's just there, like, hey, what's up? And she's like, oh, I have to leave right now immediately. He's like looks all fucked up.
Yeah, Sakura, what are you doing here?
The other thing I want to touch on with this episode briefly, before we move on, is like to the second half of this episode, is like there are things about this episode that like feel very like. But like how this episode looks, that feel very like foundational to me. Not necessarily to like what Naruto looks like, but to like goofy faces you'd see people draw in DeviantArt.
Right. God.
Like just an unshakable feeling of like, oh, like this is like a deeply influential piece of work to like so many teens who wanted to like draw like Naruto making a goofy face.
Oh my god. But yeah, you ready to move on?
Yeah.
The enemy ninja introduced themselves as the Moya Triad, and remember back when Kakashi kicked their asses for bothering some lady 3 years ago. Team 7 arrive at an inn and get served food that the Moya goons secretly poisoned. Kakashi upturns the table after Naruto flings a teapot at him in a ploy to see his face. Later in the hot spring, the Moya boys try to hit him with a poison blow dart, and simply miss. Naruto and Sasuke are disappointed Kakashi's bathing with a towel on his face. The kids steal the Moya guy's clothes for a disguise. They arrive at the farm, and the kids put on the Moya clothes to confront Kakashi. Kakashi recognizes them immediately. This causes the Moya men to hop out from hiding and confront him too. Kakashi obviously knew that they were tailing them the whole time, and Sakura tries to save face by saying that's what all the kids' antics were about. Kakashi handles the Moya bros, and the kids finally just ask to see what's under the mask. It's another mask.
Okay, yeah. So, like I said, I think this half of the episode definitely starts like floundering a little bit.
Yeah.
Like the Moya guys aren't like a complete like jokes wasteland. Like there's some stuff of them is like kind of funny, right? Like I like when they do their like silly poses and like Moya characters like flash over them trying to hold their like ridiculous like we look kind of like the Japanese character for like this part of her name thing repeatedly. I think that's all right. I think there's like some of the like they're like I mean. I am like generally whatever, but just like some of like the ridiculously like over dramatic like animation that gets applied to them sometimes. But like as like characters who are acting in the episode, I feel like they're really just trying to get by on like the sheer force of like, oh, you think these guys are ridiculous, right? And it's like not really enough.
Yeah, right. Because like the answer is just yeah. So
yeah, like they're not like characters that I'm like that I think are funny, and they're not like they don't really like.
Wow, you sure put some obnoxious guys on screen.
Yeah, they're obnoxious guys who are on screen, and that's like.
Where's the joke, please?
I need more, and I understand like this is like a children's show, right? But also like you were being funnier like a few minutes ago before you put these guys on screen.
Yeah.
But it was just like a like tightly constructed like here's like some very like we're playing our expectations how the scene's gonna go because we built this like structure, and here it's like we just don't really have that. We just have obnoxious guys. I'm like it's just I mean I'm not like 12 and watching this show, so I need more, and like that is what it is, right? But like I think I can complain about it on my podcast.
Yeah.
And like I just. It's not like there's like no structure, right? Because they have like there's the repeated thing of like okay they're going to try and like get Kakashi with the poison that makes him do something goofy until he dies or whatever. But that doesn't lead to like it doesn't really like build any expectations of like
yeah, right. Like it's just a like yeah a poison that makes you hiccup until you die is funny.
Yeah, and a poison that makes you laugh until you die. I guess is like. It's like that thing from before. I recognize it.
It's just like the one from before, but a little bit different.
Like it doesn't lead to anything like propulsive or like just like it really felt like kind of like I was running into a wall when I got to this half of the episode. It was just like oh this just doesn't have that same momentum. It just doesn't have the same like the spark is kind of gone in a way.
Yeah.
Yeah, there's not devoid, like completely devoid stuff. I think is funny. Like I like when Naruto and Sasuke are trying to like be all secretive in the hot springs, so they're just like talking to each other while their mouths are underwater for no reason.
Yeah, that's pretty good.
But like it's just it's not the same. It's not as good.
Yeah, like good job, show. You have worse jokes.
Yeah, I do like Moving a little further in the episode, I do like Naruto's terrible disguise plan. I like how much it commits to just drawing the kids in clothes that extremely don't fit.
Yeah.
And then be like, yeah, this is what we're doing. this will work.
Yeah.
I think that's charming, right? And like it helps that like, oh yeah, I know Naruto and Sasuke and Sakura, and I like to see them on screen. Generally speaking, like I mean, sometimes Sakura brings despair with her, but it's not her fault. It's just funny to see like here's a kid trying to be serious in clothes that don't fit at all. Like that's just. That is a thing that works better than here's some obnoxious guys to me.
Yeah.
I don't know. Like I don't know how much more to say about like the plot of this episode, right? Like it's just like a jokes thing, Kakashi beats up the obnoxious guys, and then that's that.
Yeah, pretty much. I do like the punchline at the end.
The punchline is good. Like I genuinely think that's like it's like hard to like come to like organically at this point, just because like I mean, I literally knew the punchline before I had watched like not just this episode, but like any episode of Naruto at all. But it's also like it's pretty good. Like seeing the setup is like pretty fun, especially with like like the episode starts with like Naruto like talking to like Sasuke and Sakura about wanting to see like Kakashi like what's under Kakashi's mask. But also he's like before we even know that Sasuke and Sakura are there, like we see him like talking directly to the scene. So it's like, hey, everybody in the audience, you want to know what's under Kakashi's mask? So it's like it's pulling the audience directly into that like, oh shit, are we gonna find out? And then it's just a cute little rug pull.
Yeah.
I think there was eventually like an OVA or something where they show what's really under Kakashi's mask, and it's just very normal. It's just completely unremarkable.
Yeah, well, I mean, he walks around in disguise in Boruto, where he just doesn't have the mask on, but he's like otherwise basically the same.
Yeah, he does do that, doesn't he?
Yeah, he like disguises himself as like a photographer.
Yeah. Do you have anything else to say about this episode? I feel like we kind of went through it pretty quick, but also like it's. There's only so much we can do with an episode.
Yeah, I mean, it's just a light jokes episode, so let's move on. Episode 102. Mission: help an old friend in the land of tea. A bunch of katana guys make their way to the hidden leaf, but get got by a rain ninja umbrella twink. Tsunade tells the kids that their next mission is happening without adult supervision. They have to escort a runner in a running ceremony over in the land of tea. On the way, they stop to eat and get trash-talked by a guy named Idate. He leaves them with his bill, and they chase after him, but he's a super fast runner and gets away.
So I was like really like kind of excited to get this because like this is like the first like actual like anime original arc with like dramatic stakes. And we had the movie before, but that's like a whole different deal, right? It's that's like a big flash thing, and this is just like a this is just like episodes of Naruto.
Yeah.
Which lends it like. In some cases, like more room to breathe, and also like is a much less a much less intricate ordeal in terms of like animation and stuff. But like, I was curious to see what we were getting here, and like I think this is also like of the various animated original Naruto arcs. I feel like this is in the unique place of being the one that like people who were like just watching Naruto on TV like more often than not just saw this one because it's like They were still airing Naruto every week, and it was still like, oh yeah, there's like stuff the like next episode that's playing for the manga isn't that far out, and like it's not like the big like batch after the Naruto and Sasuke fight where like you start to wonder how much this matters when you're a kid watching this because you've been like hearing rumors online about like there's like a guy called Pain or some shit. There's like crazy shit happening over in like the manga in Japan. Like none of this was in that, so like what the hell?
Yeah.
There's also like a Ubisoft developed video game that like. In adapting like the like latter half of this first part of Naruto, it like covers this arc, which is like fascinating to me. Like I feel like this is the only anime original arc that gets that treatment at all.
Interesting.
Yeah.
God, we still need to like get our hands on a bunch of like Naruto video games for me to stream.
That would be fun. Yeah, we should totally do that.
Yeah.
Anyway, so this like as they're introducing the arc, this was like kind of interesting. Like something that was like immediately stood out to me is that I feel like this arc is really trying to ground itself in a lot of ways in like stuff that like you kind of recognize from the stuff that was in the manga, right? Like even though like
this thing is like chock full of like shooting exams callbacks.
Yeah, right. Like even though the Umbrella Twink is like a new guy, he is like using the fucking attack that the guy like Gaara like turned into blood paste.
Yeah.
Was using. He's using it on people who aren't Gaara and also like just aren't ninjas, so they get got.
Uh-huh. I also want to call out my frequent use of the term katana guy.
Mm-hmm.
Even when like these guys are a little bit more rough and tumble than a more like well armored katana guy. But like even when a katana guy is just like actually set up and like very appearance wise set up to like invoke a samurai.
Mm-hmm.
Samurai is like a proper noun in Naruto, so I can't say that.
Yeah, I understand. You gotta be very careful with the terminology. We don't want to confuse anybody listening. But like, you know, it's just not like, you know, there's you know, like the new guy that we like get here mentioned in this scene is like Idase Morino. It's like, oh shit, I know we met a guy who had Morino as the last name back in the tuning exams.
Yeah.
It's just very much like I don't know if that was just like the creative direction, or if it was like an attempt to like make sure that like people who are like watching are like, oh, this has stuff I recognize in it, so it's not like fake to me. I don't know what motivated the decision, but like it is very present in this arc.
Yeah, I'm kind of here for it. I mean, that's basically what we're doing with our with our us with our Naruto OCs.
Yeah, just sort of like pointing like, hey, we're in the background and we matter in this, and we're connected to this. Don't worry about it.
Yeah. Right, because like I could definitely see like an anime original thing where it's just like, yeah, I'm a rogue shinobi that like was like adopted by the Uchiha clan, but like I was like, you know.
God, I feel like they would have to like they'd have to get some clearance to like make up like a new like not really Uchiha. Like they'd have to like really clear that one with Kishimoto. Like I don't know how like tight or leash keeps in that stuff, but it feels like they never really do that, and they never really like go in that direction, right?
Yeah. Well, I mean, and you know, it's like there's a bunch of like non-shinobi in the Uchiha clan, right? There's like fucking old people.
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
You know, and it's just like I don't know. I think it would be fair to be like, yeah, this is just like some like not very high ranking Uchiha like family like adopted this kid, right? And it was just like, you know, kind of a thing, and then like, you know, the kid ended up being like a decent shinobi, but then also like had a bunch of like complicated feelings about like not really being an Uchiha.
Yeah, I can totally see that. You know, I know eventually in the anime we'll get to a point where they're just like making up, here's the new ninja village that they go to, like for this like 6-episode story arc or whatever.
Yeah.
But like right now, it's like, I mean, the only thing that's not like immediately tied, like, oh yeah, this was in the comic, is like the Land of Tea, but also like that was like in a previous episode also, so it's kind of like building up this like self-referential web of the stuff that it's making up too, and trying to keep it all like fairly neatly tied together. For now, anyway. Like I'm curious to see how much that lasts, and like if there's like more of that going forward.
Yeah.
So back in the Leaf Village, you know, the kids from Team 7 are all like going to get their new mission from Tsunade, and you know this is like kind of a big deal. You know, it's like, you know, technically this is a B rank mission, but like maybe it could even be an A rank mission if it gets more dangerous than it already is. You know, that's how you know this is like is real important shit. There winds up being like kind of this weird like textural thing where like, I imagine a lot of this is just kind of like, okay, we want to get things like going a little bit. We want to like introduce a little bit more of like whatever the character conflicts in this arc are before we like get into like explaining everything. But in this scene, Snyder's room was like, yeah, I don't really know exactly what's going on, because like all the guys are going to tell me what the mission was, got like attacked on the way here. But like, you should just go over there and like you'll figure it out. You know, we'll learn over there. It's fine.
Yeah, that's fine.
That's fine. Like, you know, she does say it's like, yeah, you know, this is a mission for the guy who showed up like a few weeks earlier when like Naruto is at the hot springs and stuff. So like it's there's more of that, like, you know, hey, you remember the stuff from earlier, even if that's like not a thing that originates in the manga.
Yeah, he was the guy that Tsunade was like visiting with when the whole katana guy debt snafu happened, right?
Yeah.
Good shit.
Yeah, so you know the kids head out. They like don't get super far, like often traveling, but like, hey, we're gonna like stop over here at this like tea house, and they meet a guy who doesn't fucking respect the troops. Can you fucking believe this?
Yeah. He's fucking right.
Yeah, I mean, he's right. Like, but like not for any like real reasons. He's just got his own like personal shit of like, oh, actually, I think ninjas suck, and I've got a different guy that I think are cool now. But like, it's like, it is fascinating how much the conflict here isn't like, oh, this guy like rubs Naruto wrong for like some difference in beliefs. It's just like, oh, this guy fucking hates ninjas and thinks ninjas are stupid. And like, obviously Naruto thinks ninjas are awesome because he is one, and like believes in the Leaf Village to some extent. Like, he's not a guy like, oh, I hate believing in stuff, or like I hate or like I love giving up and hate not giving up. He's just like, I fucking hate the troops. Like he can't get like too many points in my book because he does then like immediately go over to Sakura and be like, hey, how about you quit the army and be my wife? Which is like, I mean, come on, man. Don't be like this.
Like, he says he was just doing it to like fuck with them.
Mm-hmm.
But like, still.
Right. I mean, if that's your like immediate route towards like fucking with somebody, it's like, you know, I'm judging you a little bit.
Yeah, dude, she's like 12.
Yeah, come on. Neither of you are making decisions like that right now. But like, especially not her. I feel like there's something about Hidate who like feels kind of like he's sort of like testing the water for like, you know, once they get into all of the like post Naruto and Sasuke fight like anime original arcs, they're not going to have like Sasuke for Naruto to bounce off of. So like a lot of the time they introduce like a new guy for him to be like sort of rivals with like briefly.
Mm-hmm.
And he definitely like. There's a part of him that definitely feels like, oh yeah, Hidate is here to like sort of, you know, see like get some practice with that with the training wheels on of like Sasuke is still here, to, you know, see if they can pull that off. And like, you know, I can't say for sure that they will, but like, you know, that's like kind of what like that reads like to me, because I remember them doing like having a lot of like new guys for Naruto to be like briefly rivals with, like every time he goes somewhere new, and like a lot of the arcs that come after the like divergence like anime original stuff.
Yeah.
All right. Hidate like sticks the, you know, the leaf kids with the bill, like runs off. And, you know, Sasuke like puts his ear to the ground. It's like, oh wow, he's like really fast actually. So they start like chasing after him, jumping through the trees and shit. And he like trips off a cliff, and they catch up to him briefly. The thing I couldn't believe about this scene where they like catch up to him like before he like runs off again is how directly they try and go for the like Rock Lee training weights thing, but for a guy we like do not care about as much as Rock Lee, and like with way like
right,
like, you know, he like they catch up to him. He's like, okay, well fine, I'm gonna take these weights off my legs, right? And everyone's like, oh, he's just taking some weights off his legs, whatever. But like, you know, rather than like it being Rock Lee, a guy who we've like, you know, we've like got some idea of, and like, you know, we're invested in him, like. When he fights, like, okay, here's the new guy who's like annoying Naruto, and now he's gonna like do this exact same thing, but also because he's like already sitting on the ground and not like up on a big statue, he like has to like pick up the weights again to like drop them for dramatic effect. God. The other thing with his like weights here, right, is like, when it's Rock Lee, who is like this ridiculous, like super training focused guy, he's always putting in the most effort to like get his, you know, to like try and become stronger. You know, he's it's a whole thing. We talked a lot about Rock Lee, and we know what he's about. I don't need to explain who Rock Lee is to you who are listening to our Naruto podcast. But like when it's Rock Lee, I'm like, oh yeah, this is like part of that character concept. That makes sense to me. But when it's a guy who's like just running, I'm like, bro, you can't be doing this. You're gonna fuck up your legs. Like,
yeah, no,
like your knees are gonna be like fucked up by the time you're 20. You're gonna have to stop running. Like, don't do this.
Please take care of yourself.
It just seems like it's gonna like every time I see him like running with the, like what I know now to be like the weights, I'm like, hey, you're just like draining your stamina faster. Like, because like part of it's just like, yeah, it's like less of a heightened thing than it is with Rock Lee, and part of it's just like, oh, I'm a person who like used to do like long distance running, so it's like, yeah, don't fucking do this. You gotta be careful. You gotta be like, you gotta be smart about it. Like, I just can't buy into it at all. I'm like doing themselves no favors by like just trying so directly for that exact same beat again.
I wear heavy weights on my legs while I run because I really like snapping tendons.
God,
I think it's cool and fun when I can feel them go plunk.
I just have not like built the scaffolding to like suspend my disbelief on this one, even though like I totally could do it earlier.
Yeah.
You know, he runs off, and like Naruto and Sasuke and Sakura are like instantly exhausted after like jumping through 2 trees to be like, oh wow, he's so fast. And that's like where this half of the episode ends, right?
Yep. The team meets with the client, the head of the Wasabi family, and a gambling guy Naruto knows through Tsunade. He tells them about the job and how important it is to his crime family that his side wins. He introduces them to the runner they're going to escort, and it turns out to be Hidate. Hidate still hates Shinobi. In town, Sasuke beats up some goons from the rival family. Idate commits to winning the race, even if it costs him his life, and Sakura goes over the course for the race. The race starts, and Idate takes off running in the wrong direction.
Okay. So yeah, Jirocho explains to the kids like how there's like this big like ceremonial race every 4 years, and it used to be just for ceremony, but like eventually it became this like thing to like mediate the conflict between these two different like crime families, right?
Yeah.
I want to be clear. I'm not like objecting on principle to be like, oh yeah, in the like presence of fiction, we've got like the noble crime family and the bad crime family or whatever. I can just accept that as like a narrative construct or whatever.
Mm-hmm.
But because this mission is like so much about like, okay, we need to like solidify these guys like control in the area. It does kind of give this arc the unavoidable feeling of like, okay, so Tsunade became Hokage, and then immediately was like, okay, one of the first things I need to do is I need to make sure my organized crime connections are like doing well.
Yeah. I mean, that is kind of just what she's doing, right?
Yeah, and like they're like really downplaying the extent to which these guys are like doing crimes or whatever. I feel like it's like we don't like we see the other gang like doing like mean shit, but like these guys are just like I guess the idea is like, yeah, they'll take control of things and they'll just be like friendly loan sharks or something. Okay, like very vague about like what these guys are actually doing, other than like wanting to be nice to the people of this town, but like they can't because last year the other gang won the race because they hired a ninja. Like, these guys gotta make some money somehow, you know? It's
Yeah.
They're not gonna be doing nothing.
Also, it's so fucking funny to me that they're like, oh well, the crime family is like fight too much, so we're gonna have the race decide it, as if the losers of that race wouldn't just be like, okay, time to start shooting people again.
Well, the nice crime family wouldn't do that.
Right. So it's actually good that they lost the first time.
Yeah, it's harm reduction. I feel like we also kind of get the return of like the weird thing we saw back in the like Land of Waves arc, where like when other people hire ninja from villages that aren't the Leaf, that's kind of bad. But when you hire ninja from the Leaf, that's good.
Yeah, that's good.
Like you know those guys were bad because they like did it first.
Also, like, what's keeping the bad guys, air quotes, bad guys, from just hiring ninja from the Leaf?
I'm not sure. I guess they wouldn't do that because they're mean.
Right.
Or like this is getting like a little ahead of ourselves. Like there's a bit later where like Sakura's going over like the rules of the race, and like it is literally not against the rules to like hire ninja to like interfere with the other like gang's runner.
Yeah.
So like,
well, it has to not be against the rules, otherwise they would be cheating.
Right, but it just means that like fucking 4 years ago, the like Wasabi family was just fucking cheaping out, and that's why they lost.
Yeah. I have a question for you. It's like sort of relevant, kind of not really, but it's like a thought I had while I was watching these episodes. Do you think that like getting like hiring a ninja from the Hidden Leaf Village feels like ordering something from Amazon, where it's just like, yeah, it's like it's like kind of the easiest and best option, but also like I feel kind of like morally gross about it.
I'd rather support the little guys.
Right.
Oh god, I don't know. I mean, realistically speaking, I think it's probably like more like geopolitically complicated than ordering from Amazon. But
I don't know, ordering from Amazon is pretty geopolitically complicated.
Right? Yeah. I mean, I just think there's like, again, I'm not coming to the defense of Amazon, the evil corporation,
right? That
ruins lives everywhere, all across all around the world. But I do think there is like a distinction between like, okay, like some underpaid miserable people are like, you know, like working in a warehouse and like delivering stuff to you, and like going to like going to like the army of like a global superpower and hiring their child soldiers to kill somebody for you. Like I think that has like repercussions for like the allegiance of the country that you're in, perhaps, in a way that, like, I mean, okay, like, obviously, like, you know, the presence of, like, a company like Amazon and, like, global imperialism is, like, you know, I don't want to understate that, but, like, you know, it's
It's just not quite the same as having child soldiers. Like, understood.
yeah, I mean, like, I don't want to be like, oh, Amazon is, like, less, like, I'm not going to confidently make a statement that Amazon is less evil than the village hidden in the leaves. I don't think it is, but it's a different thing at the very least.
Uh-huh. It's definitely cooler to hire ninja from, like, other villages, right? Like
It's probably, yeah.
like, just fashion-wise?
Yeah, I guess so.
Yeah.
Like, the aesthetics of it are stronger.
Yeah. Yeah.
So, you know, Naruto and Hinata run into each other again, like, at Jirocho's place, because, you know, Jirocho's like, yeah, here's, like, super fast guy who's gonna, like, win the race for us. And they're, like, super mad at each other. They have, like, no real, like... it feels like there's basically, like, no real, like, ideological grounds to disagree with each other. So, like, as they continue arguing, it's basically just like, hey, whose boss has a cooler job?
I mean, that's just how it is sometimes.
Yeah. As they're arguing, you know, Sakura's sort of, like, wandering through the streets, looking at she's looking at, like, a stall that's, like, selling souvenirs, and they're all, like, all like, the little, like, trinkets that we see being sold are all, like, these like summons that exist in the world of Naruto, right?
Yeah.
And or, like, they're not all summons, because, like, Ton's not as pig is there, but, like, so it's like, you know, when it comes to, like, the Sonian summons, like, I mean, sure, it makes sense to people that people would know about those. I think you're making, like, a bit of a statement when you buy the Manda trinket.
Yeah.
Because that guy, like, not just works for Orochimaru, but loves to eat 100 people.
At once.
Yeah. The biggest question I have is, like, who is making Gamakichi merch? Because that is a baby who hasn't done anything. He's, like, showed up for, like, 2 fights and been like, geez, I hope I don't get killed. But, you know, so Sakura's looking at them and she's like, oh, these are so expensive. And the person who runs the stand, like, the lady who runs the stand is like, oh yeah, I mean, we don't want to sell our little, like, gaudy trinkets to, like, for exorbitant prices, but we just have to because of the mean criminals who make us raise our prices really high. And then the mean criminals show up to just, like, beat up a random guy, which we are to understand that the Wasabi family would never do.
Yeah, the Wasabi family would never do that.
Under the Wasabi family's generous rule, you could buy, like, a little fucking toy of a big slug for a very reasonable price.
I want my own little Pakun.
Yeah. And you would not be charged, like, unreasonably for it. You would like, see the price on the tag and you'd be like, oh wow, that makes a lot of sense. And also you wouldn't be beat up in the street for like, protection money or whatever. I think that the Wasabi family would be very professional when requesting your protection money, and I don't think they would. You know, it would be, like, just a much more, like, quiet, respectable proceeding.
Yeah, it would just catch fire in the middle of the night, your place, when you didn't pay your protection money.
Yeah. I mean, like, you know, it's just nicer for everybody that way. And, like, you know, the fire department would, like, they would show up, like, not the fire department, but, like, you know, the people from the Wasabi family who are there to keep the town safe, they would show up at, like, a very, like, you know, they'd be, like, a little late to get to your place, but, like, don't worry, like, all the neighbors would be fine, you know, they would prevent the like, fire from spreading. It would be great.
Yeah, and if the fire did spread, just make sure everyone knows that it's your fault.
Yeah. Okay, I'm, like, you know, I'm extrapolating a little extremely here, but, like, it really is a thing where it's like, they don't tell us anything. Like the Wasabi family is defined, like, exclusively to us by, like, the virtue of the things that they're not doing, and the fact that, like, the guy at the head of it is, like, nice.
Yeah. So, like, what are they doing though? Because
yeah, like, what are they doing though? Because, like, you know, like, when the fucking, like, debt collectors who were after, like, Tsunade, like, ran into him, like, they were not even, like, directly part of his gang, but they're like, oh, this is the, like, that's like the top gang boss in the land of tea, you know? Like, he's so, like, he's doing something.
Not that mean stuff though.
Not the mean stuff.
He's just a nice He's just a nice dude. And also, if you fuck with the Wasabi family, make sure you have your affairs in order because you are gonna have a nice time in a gambling den.
God.
So the mean guys show up and Sasuke kicks their asses.
Mm-hmm.
And then Sakura explains the rules of the race.
Yeah, right? we cut ahead to the race is starting. Like Sakura's explaining everything's about to happen to Naruto, right? Talking about the route they have to take, talking about how the ninjas that the evil criminals, the mean criminals have hired are they're probably in hiding right now. Which if I was Idate, I would be kind of annoyed about that fact in comparison to the fact that the ninjas that my family hired just got into a fight in the middle of the street yesterday.
Yep.
But whatever, ninja can mean anything. It's Naruto, and just a very false drama cliffhanger. Idate runs off, but it looks like he's going in the wrong direction. Oh no, is he giving up on the race? He's not doing that.
No, he's not. He's not doing that. You want to move on to the next episode then?
Yeah.
Episode 103. The race is on. Trouble on the high seas. Idate remembers meeting the family head when he tried to mug him for food money. But the old dude was kind and gave him a cool folding knife and an apple before inviting him to join the Wasabi family. The gang is being pursued by the 3 gas mask rain ninja from the Chunin exams. Idate and Naruto get trapped in a genjutsu and almost fall off a cliff, but Naruto loses all of his knives in the process. Idate explains his plan to go north and use ocean currents instead of relying on a headwind to sail. They make it to their boat and set out.
Okay. Yeah, so as Idate has run off in the wrong direction, there's another mean guy, but this one's in the government, and he sees that, and he's like, oh, I can't believe you're embarrassing us all in the sacred ritual Jirocho. So if your guy loses the race, we have to disband your entire crime family.
I feel like if it was that easy, you should just have no crime families.
Yeah, right. And he's like, yeah, no, okay, fine. I'm a man of my word. I'll do that. And it's you don't have to. I don't know, the ways that this arc is trying to construct the sense of if the right guys win this race, things can be okay, are very, very tenuous to me, right? Because to me what it seems is oh yeah, the people up top are not actually interceding in the conflict. They're just deciding to mediate it in this arbitrary way, so that they basically just choose who they're probably getting some money kicked up to them from, right? It's
this is worse than the Nice Gato situation.
I don't is it worse than Nice Gato?
It is more egregious than the Nice Gato situation.
Okay, right. It is less globally significant, but it is more immediately the fundamentals of this seem pretty rough.
Yeah.
Idate is running off in the wrong direction, in what seems to be the wrong direction. He's remembering he's remembering when he first met Jirocho, right? And he tried to stab him and take his money, and Jirocho was disarmed him, was hey, have this apple, have this have this knife that isn't for hurting people, unlike the knife you have. And just you can join my crime family as long as you don't steal ever again. So we're narrowing down the list of bad crimes that they don't do, right? So they don't steal, and they probably don't stab people with knives.
What's the fun of being in a fucking crime family if you don't get to stab people or steal? What the fuck?
I don't know. I mean, I guess if you got the fire guys are probably pretty happy.
Yeah, I guess it's a pretty good gig for an arsonist.
During Jirocho's speech to Wasabi in the past, there's and I know this is this is not the problem. A lot of this is down to an awkward translation, but the specific thing he says as he's don't try to attack people with this knife is edged tools aren't for hurting people, which is that's very unspecific, sir. I think some of them might be for hurting people, but
yeah, I can attest that at least a few of them are for hurting people.
Yeah, it seems the form factor of a kunai or a shuriken is not great for much other than hurting people.
Mm-hmm. Swords,
yeah.
Spears.
Mm-hmm. But it was a real life-changing moment for Idate, who would presumably thought of edge tools largely as a means for hurting people.
Mm-hmm.
And so now he has his knife that he loves to carry around all the time.
And he gets so mad that Naruto keeps touching it.
He's so mad about it. God, we'll talk about that more later. Yeah, so as he's running, like Sasuke and Sakura realize that like Naruto and Hidate are like caught in a genjutsu, just like the genjutsu from the Chunin exams by those like same three guys from the Chunin exams. What are the goddamn names? Like Oboro, Mubi, and
the other one.
Yeah, I think I do like with these guys here is that I like that when they're like in their disguises, they still have their like 0 eyes, 1 eye, and 2 eye exposed thing going on with like the one guy who has like the one like lens sunglasses.
Yeah.
They've got a bit, they're committing to it. I can respect it.
It's pretty good.
Yeah, so Hidate and Naruto are like running through this like looping section of forest again, basically, and Sakura and Sasuke have noticed this, but like don't really like engage in the scene that much. Like they don't like go like, hey guys, we know what's happening from up here. It's fine, don't worry about it. But as Hidate goes to, like dispel the genjutsu, it turns out these guys have like they've enhanced their tricks since the Chunin exams. So now there's another genjutsu inside that genjutsu. So Hidate runs right off a cliff. Mm-hmm. Naruto like rescues him, but in the process loses all of his edge tools, which aren't for hurting people. They run off to where Hidate has a boat. It turns out he actually he had a plan the whole time. The fake drama of him like running off, and everybody's like, oh, is he going in the wrong direction? And then it turns out he actually like just knows what he's doing. Is resolved. It's like this is definitely one of those things where it's like, okay, the resolution is like so inevitable feeling to me that like the fact that we spend any time waiting for it is just kind of obnoxious, right? Because it's like on some level you can like tie this back to the part where it's like, okay, like he's got this thing where like he struggles to trust people and he doesn't like ninja or whatever, right? But like, and that's why he didn't like tell his bodyguards about how he had this plan. But also, it doesn't really lead to like any interesting like problems or anything, right? Like the other guys would have been like following him and like setting up a trap regardless of if like Naruto and Sasuke and Sakura knew who's going that direction. And so it's like yeah, I don't know, like it's
like if Naruto and Sakura and Sasuke like did some like legwork along the like trail to like have like supply drops and like little like checkpoint stuffs, like a whole thing set up, and he just takes off in another direction.
God, that would be pretty funny. But also, it's like it's not like there's something they could have done because like the direction you're supposed to go in was like just getting on a boat, right?
Yeah.
So like,
yeah, right. Like,
it's just kind of like a non-issue that exists for there to be like a cliffhanger at the end of the previous episode. But he like runs off to like go get a boat. He like talks to like an old man who had a boat prepared for him. He's like, geez, I sure hope you win. It's really been rough with the Wagarashi family, the mean criminals running things. Again, the like complete lack of like trying to define the Wasabi family with anything other than like, oh, they don't do the things the other meaner guys do is like stunning to me. I'm like so curious if we get like any picture of what the Wasabi family does at all by the end of this arc.
Yeah,
but,
right.
Like, right now we do not have it.
I can't help but wonder if the reason that the Wasabi family isn't doing those things right now is because they don't have the authority to yet.
Yeah. I mean, yeah, I am just left to believe that they would just be like much more professional about it,
Yeah, totally. Those other criminals, they're a bunch of brutes. They're just gonna beat you up because they feel like it, and you can't do nothing about it. Well, the Wasabi family, they're going to beat you up when you deserve it, and you can't do nothing about it.
God. Anyway, do you want to move on to the next half of the episode?
Yeah, let's go.
Okay.
On the water, Sakura talks to Naruto about how Hidate probably has some ninja training, and he overhears that Naruto made it to the finals of the Chunin exam. While they're on the subject, Sasuke and Sakura put it together that Hidate has the same last name as Ibiki, the torture guy and proctor of the first exam. Hidate is surprised his brother is still alive. Before they can process this revelation, they're attacked by the rain guys. They get boarded by the scary clones, and Sasuke uses his Sharingan to see which ones are real. Their clone trick isn't working, so they cover the boat in oil and light it on fire. Hidate has some flashbacks to his traumatic past where he thought his brother died, and Sakura hits some guys with the mast of the ship. Hidate and the gang swim for it, but the Umbrella Twink is waiting for Hidate when he hits land.
Okay. So yes, Naruto and Sakura are sort of talking about like, maybe this guy like actually, like Sakura is going like, oh, maybe this guy has some training or something. He's like runs fast in ways that normal people don't, and like he was able to like dispel that genjutsu. And Naruto's like, no, I think he sucks too bad to have ever been a troop. There's just not a chance. Like Sakura's like getting kind of annoyed about this. Naruto's like, no, like I can't be as dumb as him. I almost passed the tuning exams. And Dante's like, what? Well, that's fucking bullshit. Like, you must have had like a real fucking chump of like a guy giving you like your first stage of the exams to like get past it at all. And then this is where we get into the reveal that like, oh yeah, Idate is like, not just related to like the torture guy we all know and love. They're like brothers, right? I don't have a problem with this, right? Like, I think it's like a solid enough idea to be like, yeah, okay, Ibiki is a character who is never going to matter enough for like any like contradictions you might for there to even be any contradictions you would accidentally create by like making a guy who is related to him, right? Like it's just like, that guy's there, he's going to be in the background like a few more times, but like he's just,
Yeah, he's not.
They're not going to have like a torture arc of Naruto.
They should. Sakura should train under Ibiki and become like the torture guy.
God, I'm just thinking about how in Boruto there's like an episode where like Ibiki like shows up at the school and is like, hey, have you considered a career in torture? We still have a torture department now after the leaf has been reformed.
It's so fucking funny. Moving on a little bit.
Mm-hmm.
I want to say it's so fucking funny that these rain ninjas just have a crossbow.
Yeah. They're like a special crossbow that can shoot 4 bolts at once.
Yeah.
Yeah, like throughout the entire fight, there's like a guy whose job is basically just like stand on the boat and fire the crossbow at them.
It's so fucking good.
They've like learned their lesson about like standing in a line where Naruto can punch all of them at once. So now they've got a ranged guy.
A crossbow is such a fucking funny weapon for that too, right? Because it's the like as far as like ranged weapons go, right? Until you get into like for like like firearms or whatever, right? Like it is the one that has the like least to do with like the input of the user, right?
Mm-hmm.
Like which is just like not the vibe you're going for like Naruto specifically, right? Where it's all just like throwing knives and stuff.
Mm-hmm.
Just crossbow.
Also, God, I think of his crossbow that like kind of caught me off guard is like how much of his crossbow shit is like firing like slow arcing shots over to like the other boat, right? So they have like the vertical angle of approach.
Yeah.
Which I feel like is not. I mean, I'm not a crossbow expert. I feel like that's not really what you would go to a crossbow for.
No, not really. Crossbows famously get a little bit complicated unless you hold them pretty level.
Yeah, right. There's like a bit like I made a little ahead of ourselves. Like a bit later when like they light the boat on fire. Where like where like he puts the fire arrow in his crossbow and like there's just like this like multiple second long shot of it just like slowly fucking floating through the air to the other boat. Where it just feels like completely weightless. And I was like, what's going on here, guys?
Yeah.
But anyway, before that, they're firing the crossbow at the boat, and like like it's not doing much because it's just like a crossbow like hitting a boat. Not really like an anti-vehicle weapon.
Yeah. It's no Rasengan.
Yeah. And so they, like the rain ninja trio, like I said, like they like attach ropes to they attach ropes to the boat that Naruto and Uruba is on. And like Naruto and Idate have like a fake argument about like, hey, hey, let me use your knife. And Naruto's like, no, I'm not gonna let you use my knife. And meanwhile, Sasuke's just like, oh my god, Naruto, quick, take one of my fucking knives. Like, why did you just ask me to begin with? That guy doesn't want you to touch his knife.
Naruto just wants to hold the cool knife.
It's got like a fucking, it's got like this like, yeah, it's like really fancy looking, He's got like all sorts of like disposable knives and shit, They're like well made and all that, right? But like, it's not fancy.
It's not fancy. It's got gold on it.
Anyway, even though like Naruto like cuts the boat with the kunai that Sasuke gives him, or cuts the ropes with the kunai that Sasuke gives him, the Rain Ranger are able to put like a bunch of clones on the boat. And Naruto's like, oh shit, this seems bad, but don't worry, only the guys who are like the real ones can attack you. And then Sasuke activates his Sharingan to provide no information other than like, hey, the real guys are out here and they can attack you.
Well, he specifically calls out which real one it is.
Does he?
Yeah. And then Naruto gets his ass with a bunch of clones.
Okay, I didn't like for some reason it didn't register to me that he was like calling out like a specifically like a real one. He was just like yeah. I guess I was like I missed something, but like
But
yeah. That guy like does go like straight for Naruto, right? And you say Naruto gets his ass with a bunch of clones, but like that also doesn't really happen, right? Because like Naruto like so he gets like he like jumps at Naruto, but it turns out Naruto's a clone, and like some Naruto clones like jump down from like the like mast to like try and get him.
mm-hmm.
And there's like an impact sound, and like it cuts to black. But then when like we get a shot again, like the Naruto clones haven't landed yet, and the guy just like jumps off the side of the boat like a frog, completely unharmed.
Yeah, he just slips out from under him.
It's like it's very jarring because like it plays it exactly like he's been hit, and then like immediately after it plays like he's like nothing happened.
Yeah, it's fine. Don't worry about it.
So there's nobody on the boat anymore, right? Other than like the clones, which are not like water clones. They've made all their clones like physically real enough to be like made out of water and not just
scary feeling.
Yeah. And then like one of the guys on the boat like activates his like oil rain jutsu. And like Sasuke is about to just like explode them all, and Sakura's like, "Wait, Sasuke, you fucking idiot!
Sasuke fucking
don't do fire right now." And then like back on the boat, Oboro is like, fucking unlucky. I can't believe Sasuke didn't explode himself. Well, I guess we're fucking out of options. But the crossbow guy's like, hey man, don't worry about it. Check this out. And like launches like a single firebolt out of his crossbow like very slowly. Lights the boat on fire. Like I love how much like the other two are just like, shucks, Sasuke didn't explode them. like once he doesn't explode them.
I mean, it would have been so funny if Sasuke exploded himself.
Right. It would have been.
So the boat's on fire now.
Mm-hmm.
You know, and there's this whole like fake argument where they're like, okay, Idate, you swim for it, and we're gonna hold these guys off. And Idate's like, no, you're just gonna use me as bait. But like, shut up.
It's like, wait. And he's like, they say something that's like specifically like the same thing that like he remembers like Ibiki saying before he like fake burned to death.
Mm-hmm.
And everybody's like, no, just get off the boat. The boat's on fire. You're not gonna fucking do anything. You're gonna have to get off it eventually anyway.
All right, we got to talk about the elephant in the room.
Is it where Sakura picks up the mast of the ship and like swings it around?
Yeah, to where Sakura picks up the mast of the ship and swings it around, right? Because okay, so like we know that Sakura is like a Tsunade style super strength girl.
Mm-hmm.
Eventually.
Yeah, but not yet.
Not yet.
But maybe I guess she's always had it in her. I guess she was just always like.
Is this the first instance of that being the case?
Like this is definitely the first instance like of Sakura being like super strong. I think I can't think of anything else, right? Like
right, like in the anime so far, but also the manga that was coming out. I looked it out. I looked it up, and like the timeline matches up where like Naruto and Sasuke are having their big dramatic fight at the end of the Fetch Sasuke arc.
I got like right now.
Like right now.
Damn. Okay. I thought it was like a little further ahead than that, but I guess not.
No, I looked at the release dates. It like that is happening like within the month, right?
So yeah, I guess this might be the first time we see like super strong Sakura anywhere. Then
damn. Okay, and like we don't know how much was just like talked about like plans behind the scene, right?
I mean, like and like at this point, like you know, like Naruto is like tied to Jiraiya, and like Sasuke is tied to like Orochimaru, so like you know, it's like the natural thing to like put, like, oh yeah, Sakura's gonna like train her Tsunade or whatever. It's just the obvious conclusion to come to, right?
Mm-hmm.
Like she's gonna have some of those same tricks too.
It's just weird to drop it like this when it hasn't been established.
Yeah. But like you know, I'm not going to complain about Sakura just fucking picking up the mast of the ship and swinging it around.
Yeah, no, of course not. Are you kidding me?
Any time Sakura does anything, I will cling to it.
Yeah.
Yeah. After like dispelling all the clones on the boat, and like giving Idate a bit of a head start, like the rest like Team 7 jumps off into the water, and the Rain Ninja on their boat, which isn't like burning anything, like all right, now we get to go kill them, which is my favorite part because we're sickos.
Yeah.
And meanwhile, yeah, like closing out the episode, Idate is like reaching land, and then fucking Aoi, the umbrella twink, is there, and he's like, hey, Idate, but like you better not learn any fucking lessons about friendship, and like kicks him back in the water.
Yeah, and I guess that's the show.
Yeah.
Anything else you want to talk about before we end it?
No, I think I covered everything I had to say.
All right, what are we watching next week?
Next week, we are watching episodes 104, 105, and 106 of Naruto. We're closing out this animated original arc, and that'll be like, once we do that, we'll be back to like manga adapting stuff. We'll be back to like the big like Sasuke arc.
Nice. If you don't want to wait, you can check out our Patreon, patreon.com/Konoha Crush, all one word, Konoha Crush. For just $3 a month, you get access to episodes up to a week early. And for $5, you get access to our bonus podcast, Narakai Uzumaki, where we talk about like isekai and isekai-related stuff. The most recent episode that we've released is about Dot Hack Sign, and we are currently watching Danmachi, or Is It Wrong to Pick Up Girls in a Dungeon? So, if you're interested in that stuff, check out our Patreon. That's $5 a month. And also, I want to offer a special thanks to our Jonin tier patrons, Maple and Izzy, future Jinchuriki of the Six-Tailed Beast. Thank you so much. Your support means a lot. Any images we talk about during the podcast can be found on our Twitter, twitter.com/Konoha Crush, all one word, Konoha Crush. We have a Tumblr now, too, KonohaCrushCast.tumblr.com. I stream on Twitch at twitch.tv/GuinevereTeef, GuinevereTeef. I stream art and play games sometimes. Specifically, Ruby and I are playing Elden Ring Seamless Co-op with the Seamless Co-op mod on Friday nights. So feel free to come and check us out then. And beyond that, I think that's it. Unless you have anything to shout out.
No. I mean, I'm basically just working on stuff with you, right? So your plugs are my plugs, more or less.
Yeah. All right. Thanks for listening, and remember, there's no such thing as filler.